everyone. I welcome you all in this presentation. So, our title is Language Formula and its Implementation, Medium of Instruction at the Elementary Level of Education. So, to start with, in the first slide, we will see the bullet points on which I will carry forward my discussion for the next 10 minutes, maybe. So, introduction, history, components, importance, then the NEP 2020 and the three language formula, key features of NEP 2020 in regards to these, issues and challenges, regional resistances, constitutional provisions, NEP 2020's flexibility in terms of language choices, the benefits of the three language formula, and then I will conclude showing you the references that I have consulted during preparing this presentation. So to start with, in the introduction, what we have, let's see. So definition. So what is three language formula? A policy to promote multilingualism and national unity in India by encouraging the learning of the three languages. So this is a policy that has been taken up by Government of India that promotes multilingualism and national unity. Then origin, as we focus on the origin of this concept, it was first came into action when the first national education policy was published in 1968, NEP 1968. So the history or the pathway that through which this three language formula has evolved, that starts with 1968 NEP followed by Kothari Commission, where they adjusted the formula to incorporate regional languages, followed by in 1986 again in the national education policy they reaffirmed the approach without significant changes that they mentioned in 1968. Moving forward, the components of the three language formula. So as the name suggests, three language formula will have total three languages. So one will be the Indian native language, that will be is Hindi in most of the cases, whereas one regional language, that is specifically the mother tongue of the kid preferably, and the last one will be English, which will be taught in terms of a global language or a international language. Importance of the three language formula at the elementary level. So this slide will let us know why it is so important to focus on the three language formula from the elementary or the basic level of education, the starting days. So learning multiple language enhances the brain development or critical thinking skill of the child. Then it establishes early proficiency in regional languages, Hindi, English, and it helps to promote the linguistic diversity, which is very important for a vast country like India. Then it also makes the students culturally very aware. It enables them to respect other customs, traditions, rituals. Followed by, when a student is equipped with the knowledge of three languages, it makes him more effective as a communicator. The shakiness or the shy tendencies of a student when he is exposed to unknown people, it becomes more serious or silent. When a student is having the knowledge of three language formula, then it is more comfortable for him or her to express himself. Then preserving the regional languages is another very important aspect of the three language formula. The languages are getting extended that can be safeguarded by implementing this policy. It also promotes social integrity since the students are learning at least two common languages in this policy in terms of studying the language Hindi and the English, whereas they are also learning their own native mother tongue. And it also gives them access to better job opportunities. As they learn more languages, they make themselves ready for addressing a huge target audience. For them, the opportunity to be recruited increases by this. NEP 2020 and the three language formula. Why we are focusing on NEP 2020? Because NEP 2020 is the recent most national educational policy. So the aspects where NEP 2020 is focusing, they are early childhood education. So what we mean, the elementary level of education, because from the basic step or the stage, if the students learn the three languages, it will be easy for them to catch them up. Then flexibility, flexibility in terms of administration or the parents of the students. So the child should be given the opportunity, and the child should have the proper infrastructure where he can learn or continue his educational processes following the three language formula. Another important aspect is teacher's training. Until and unless the teacher is teaching the student with using the three language formula, it is not possible for the student to catch up this policy. Lastly, since the students are being taught using the three language formula, the examination of the evaluation system should be also formulated in the same manner, or else the proficiency or the expertise of the student cannot be evaluated. Lastly, the fifth stage suggests that if there is any backlog after the evaluation, there should be proper policies or evaluative measures that can be remedial classes can be given so that the student can cope up with the shortcomings. Then the key features of NEP 2020 for three language formula. So mainly three heads they are saying early childhood education. So the emphasis is on native language for children up to age of 8. Then the policy should be flexible in such a way that third language could be English or any other language of the choice of the student. Here the student is the most primary factor. Then teacher training. Teacher training becomes significant in such a way because unless the teachers is not skilled enough or they don't know how to teach, then it will become hectic for the student to catch up or learn in the same way, or their learning will be faulty if wrong things are delivered to them. Issues and challenges of the three language formula. First is implementation inconsistency, varied applications in various regions of the country that makes a heterogeneous situation. Then resource limitation, the main resource, that is the human resource in case of teaching, that is the teachers. So lack of qualified language teachers is a very crucial problem, followed by political sensitivity, resistance from states like Tamil Nadu, and imposition of regional languages over Hindi and all other common languages makes a tough situation for the country to homogeneously implement this three language policy. Regional resistance, since it is a very huge issue, I have been highlighting this once again. So states like Tamil Nadu, resistance to Hindi as mandatory language. Here we can see a photograph where during the movement in the late 90s, in the railway stations also they denied to have the Hindi scriptures written. States in South prefer their regional languages over Hindi, citing imposition concerns. Feel that it is being putting on them as a burden, so try to defend that. Census data also suggests that the number of Hindi speaking people in the southern part of the country is not very satisfactory, so that it cannot be imposed as a official language or a national language. So, what are the constitutional provisions? The Constitution also safeguards few linguistic measures, so which are Article 29 protects the interests of the minorities, allows citizens with distinct language, script, or culture to conserve their own. Whereas Article 343 designates Hindi in Devanagari script as official language of India. English remains official for 15 years after the Constitution's commencement, whereas Article 346 specifies the language for communication between states and the Union allows Hindi if the states agree, unless it cannot be imposed, where Article 347 grants the President authority to recognize a language as official in a state if a substantial proportion of the population desires it. That means a majority need to speak a language, and if they appeal, the president has the right to designate that language as their regional language. Whereas Article 350 ensures the provision of primary education of a child in his own mother tongue, whereas Article 350B establishes a special official for linguistic minorities to safeguard their language rights to report to the president. So this officer directly reports to the president, nothing in between. Whereas Article 351 empowers the union government to issue directives on for the development of the Hindi language in the state. Whereas the 8th schedule lists 22 languages recognized as official languages of India. So it is important to mention here, India has no official or national language, and it is not Hindi. All these 22 languages mentioned in our currency or the notes we use, all are official languages of India. Moving forward, NEP 2020 also provides many flexible aspects regarding this linguistic manner, that local language education for technological, social and educational progress, children's cognitive and creative advantages should be looked after, choice of foreign language learning based on career aspirations to be facilitated, national integration and cultural enrichment should be looked after, and lastly, the endangered language should be safeguarded. Avoiding forced Hindi, so Hindi cannot be forced. Non-Hindi states will not be forced to adopt Hindi. And lastly, students will choose languages based on their local preferences. The benefits include it bridges the linguistic gap throughout the country. Learning more language provides more career benefits to a student, and as the student learns more language, the brain development enhances. So more studious students can be born up. To conclude, we can say the purpose of the three language formula is to bridge the linguistic divide. It is not to impose anything on of the state. For example, we can see that states like Tamil Nadu with their own language policies have been able to improve educational standards while simultaneously fostering national integrity. So it is not always the central that should impose any language or the three language formula over the state. To look forward, the states also can be given the authority to achieve better outcomes in the future. And to sum up, it can be said that in NEP 2020, it has been also mentioned that a balanced approach toward promoting both local and national language can be beneficial for the country only. These are all the references that I have used or consulted while making this video. I hope this video was informative and helpful for you all. So thank you for your patient listening. For more such videos, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much. Thank you.